باب الحث على الازدياد من الخير في أواخر العمر. This is a chapter on encouragement upon increasing good deeds at the end of the life of a person. That as a person he starts getting older, then a major portion of his life should be dedicated now towards the ibadat of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. قال الله تعالى, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala mentions, أَوَلَمْ نُعَمِّرْكُمْ مَا يَتَذَكَّرُ فِيهِ مَنْ تَذَكَّرَ وَجَاءَكُمُ النَّذِيرُ. Did we not give you that amount of life wherein a person who wanted to take advice could take advice? وَجَاءَكُمُ النَّذِيرُ, and did the warner not come to you? Meaning that you had so much of life that if you wanted to change your life, you wanted to obey the command of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, you had sufficient time to change your life and start obeying every command of Allah. And didn't various warning come to you from the side of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, which should make you reflect, ponder a little bit that I'm now heading towards the Akhirah, I'm going towards Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. قال ابن عباس والمحققون, Ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu and the scholars have mentioned, معناه أولم نعمركم 60 سنين, that did we not give you a lifespan of 60 years? That if a person has been given a lifespan of 60 years, this is sufficient time for him to now reflect, to change his life and start obeying the command of Allah. ويؤيده الحديث الذي سنذكره إن شاء الله. And the hadith that will support this view, this will soon come inshallah. وَقِيلَ مَعْنَاهُ 18 سَنَةً. And it is mentioned, one meaning of this is that we not give you a lifespan of 18 years. If a person lived just for 18 years, that is sufficient for a person to reflect and change his life. وَقِيلَ 40 سَنَةً. One view of the ulama is also 40 years. So 60 years, 40 years, 80 years. قَالَهُ الْحَسَنُ وَالْكَلْبِ وَمَسْرُوقُ وَنُقِلَ عَنِ ابْنِ عَبَّاسٍ أَيْضًا. This view has been mentioned from Hasan rahimahullah, Kalbi rahimahullah, Masruq rahimahullah, and this is also the view of Ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu. One view of Ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu was 60 years, this is another view of Ibn Abbas which is 40 years. وَنَقَلُوا أَنَّ أَهْلَ الْمَدِينَةِ كَانُوا إِذَا بَلَغَ أَحَدُهُمْ 40 سَنَةً تَفَرَّغَ لِلْعِبَادَةِ. And it is mentioned that the people of Madinatul Munawwara, when they would reach the age of 40, then they would free themselves exclusively for the ibadat of Allah. Meaning in 40 years, whatever you want to do, acquire your dunya, whatever you want to do, finish it up in 40 years. When you pass the age of 40, now give your life totally to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. This was the practice of the people of Medina Sharif. وَقِيلَ هُوَ الْبُلُوغُ. And it is also, according to one view, it is mentioned when a person becomes baligh. The moment you become baligh, now dedicate your life to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala's ibadat. Now doesn't mean that totally a person shouldn't do his work, he shouldn't earn his sustenance, but a majority of his life he should now dedicate towards this. وَقَوْلُهُ تَعَالَى وَجَاءَكُمُ النَّذِيرُ. And in the verse Allah Ta'ala also mentioned that didn't the warner come to you? So who is the warner? قال ابن عباس والجمهور. Ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu and majority of the scholars say هو النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. That it is Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Did Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam not come to you? Did Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam not warn you about the qabr, about the akhirah, jannah, jahannam? Did he not tell you of all these things? وَقِيلَ الشَّيْء. And according to one view it is mentioned, it is the white hair that comes on a person. The moment the white hair that appears on a person, this is an indication that your youth has now gone. Now start getting ready for the akhirah. قَالَهُ عِكْرَمَ وَابْنُ عُتَيْبَ وَابْنُ عُيَيْنَ وَغَيْرُهُمَا. This is the view of Ikrama rahimahullah and Ibn Uyayna rahimahullah. And Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu and Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam قال. As Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu narrates from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, who mentions, أَعْذَرَ اللَّهُ إِلَى امْرِئٍ أَخَّرَ أَجْلَهُ حَتَّى بَلَغَ 60 سَنَةً. That Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala excuses a person whose life lengthens until he reaches the age of 60. قال العلماء معناه لم يترك عذرا إذا أمهله هذه المدة. The meaning of this is that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala doesn't leave any excuse for that person when He gives him respite for this time. Meaning that when you got 60 years of life, now you got no excuse before Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala that I didn't have sufficient time to now change my life. Allah gave you 60 years, that is sufficient for a person to now change his life and become the friend of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. We'll continue from here.